Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be doing a bit of a deck tech and a deep dive on one of my personal decks I own in paper, one of my more powerful decks, Thassa Deep Dwelling, as well as taking a look at a card that's not only a new addition to this deck, but a new addition to the format. And if you guys saw my previous video, you might know which card I'm talking about. We are giving Gifts Ungiven a proper shot in Thassa. I thought this deck would be a pretty good place to take it out for a spin, see what it can do. And I also thought it'd be interesting to break down the different types of piles and things you can do with Gifts Ungiven in a video with you guys. So yeah, that's what we'll be taking a look at today. And without further ado, let's get into it. So for those unfamiliar with Thassa as a card, she's pretty simple to understand. She's primarily a flicker engine. With the indestructible Theros God Claws, that is very nice to have. But primarily, she's at the beginning of her end step, flickering up to one other target creature we control, then returning that card to the battlefield under our control. And so, really, the build for this deck, we have this built as a control combo deck where we're really just trying to spend the early game turns developing ramp, and then also some type of value generating creature, some type of thing that at least at the minimum cantrips us, such as Aether Channeler or Cloud Concealer, and then get Thassa online to really seal up our early game and get a consistent value engine going. So then in the mid game, we can transition to being a proper control deck where we're often playing draw go control, where we might be playing a land for our turn, sometimes passing the turn right after that, flickering our value generating creature, and then holding open the rest of our mana for our suite of premium removal spells and counter spells to really try to control the middle of the game and make sure that any dangerous threats or game-winning plays get stopped while we bide our time and build towards our win condition, which in this list, I mentioned it was a control combo list. The main way and pretty much only way for this deck to win is developing our clean 3-piece infinite win combo, by generating infinite turns via Thassa, an Archaeomancer effect. When Archaeomancer enters the battlefield, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. And there's a few cards like that, such as Mnemonic Wall. Nice. And then we're playing all 3 of the 5 mana recurable extra turn spells, a Capture Jingzhou, Temporal Manipulation, and Time Warp. So if anybody hasn't seen that before, that's infinite turns because you cast your extra turn spell. At the beginning of your end step, Thassa is going to flicker a creature and reuse their Enter the Battlefield ability, which is some type of Archaeomancer effect to return your extra turn spell back for your next turn. Infinite turns. So anyways, yeah, this deck is just trying to develop its mana in the early game, get some type of value-generating creature online, and then consistently generate that value in the middle of the game to replace the cards we're spending to control the game, like our counter spells. And so, anyways, I thought Gifts Ungiven would be a very interesting card to add to this deck, a deck that's looking to really assemble a combo at the end of the day. Gifts Ungiven has historically always been great for that, and I think it can create some really interesting choices and decisions, and certainly present a pretty clear line to if you're looking for a specific type of combo that has redundancy in it. And so, yeah, I'm going to be taking you through a few sample piles that I had built for that I think Gifts would probably be making in this deck. And yeah, I mean, it's a new card for all of us. I thought it'd be interesting for us all to take a look at the things it could do in a deck like this, where there's some pretty redundant combo pieces and easy goals to understand. So let's get into it. Gifts pile number 1. This would probably be the bread and butter Gifts pile. This is the combo. This is probably the best thing that Gifts Ungiven can do in our deck. This pile, each pile is 4 cards. And just as a quick reminder, Gifts Ungiven is 3 and a blue. Search your library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards. Put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand, then shuffle. So basically, you are picking 4 cards, and then your opponent picks 2 of those cards to give you, and then the rest go to your graveyard. So, but the power of Gifts Ungiven, especially if you have layers of redundancy in your deck, is your opponent may be given a decision to make, but often they don't have real choices that they can make. case in point number one, this first gifts pile we're looking at is the combo pile. If we grab 3 Archaeomancer effects and an extra turn spell, even if they choose to give us just 2 of the Archaeomancer effects, the other 2 cards, the 1 Archaeomancer effect and a extra turn spell, would end up in the graveyard. And despite needing obviously you need the mana and everything to get to the combo, this gives us guaranteed access to the combo, with them most likely probably giving us just 2 Archaeomancer effects to our hand. But if we cast Gifts Ungiven at the end step of our nearest opponent, and we're untapping our turn with, let's say, at least 9 mana or so, or 10 mana, we can cast our Archaeomancer effect, or let's say Mnemonic Wall. They gave us Mnemonic Wall and Shipwreck Dowser, for example, and we could get back Temporal Manipulation, cast that Temporal Manipulation, and this would be the infinite combo win, assuming that we already have Thassa and everything else set up that we would need. And I would say, again, this would probably be our bread and butter or go-to pile, assuming we have enough resources and protection to go for the win. Again, though, if you're trying to cast everything the same turn, it could take 9 or 10 mana. So, but this pile gives us guaranteed access to our infinite win. The next pile, kind of similar looking to the first pile, but not guaranteed access to the combo. This pile is extra turns. This is, instead of 3 Archaeomancer effects and an extra turn, it's 3 extra turns and an Archaeomancer effect. And this pile would give us guaranteed access to at least 1 extra turn in our hand, potentially 2 extra turns if they don't want to give us access to the full combo. And this pile might be a good choice if we're not quite ready to assemble the actual win. Maybe we're not at quite enough mana. But if we already have Thassa plus a value generator set up, even when extra turns aren't winning us the game via the combo, it's really strong to be able to cast these when we already have some type of value generator set up with Thassa, because we can cast the extra turn, maybe cast something else, flicker our thing with Thassa, generate some value. So this would be another go-to pile. I could definitely see grabbing this one relatively often, and pretty powerful. Pile number 3, protection. Sometimes you have everything you need in hand to go for the win, and you just really need the ability to protect it. Or you're anticipating some game-ending situation coming in your near future. So nothing wrong with casting Gifts Ungiven and just grabbing 4 of our premium counter spells. Self-explanatory there. So yeah, this would be a great choice if we already have the win, or and we have access to our combo pieces, or we find some impending doom. But yeah, this deck is playing a few different free counter spells and really cheap counter spells. So Gifts Ungiven could be a powerful way to go grab a couple pieces and really seal out a win if we need protection. Another pile I could see this deck going for is cantrip creatures. This deck really needs one of them online to work. Thassa without some way to generate value off her is pretty sad. So this pile would really just be any of our 4 cantripping value generating creatures. I mentioned a couple before, but there's some 2 mana really interesting ones too, like Thunder Trap Trainer and Watcher for Tomorrow, and then just some more classic cantripping things like Fiblethip. But anyways, this would be good if we are missing some type of value generator. Go with Thassa, because we can't just spam removal spells and counter spells all game and not be replacing the cards in our hand. We will peter out of gas and not make it to our end game. So there's another gifts pile. Another pile I could see this deck going for is if we're just really sputtering for cards and need just some actual card draw or some cantrips. This you could see just getting a combination of cantrips and whatever card draw spells we have access to. We would probably, if we already have an Archaeomancer effect online, this might be a good pile as well to get things that are just really cheap and easy to cast over and over again. Because sometimes even when we're not at our combo win, if we have Thassa plus an Archaeomancer effect set up, it feels really great to be able to buy back some of these cheap cantrips. But we are also playing things that can generate more cards on their own, like Rhystic Study and Lorien Revealed. So I could see this being another potential one to grab. And the last one that I have here is Ramp. This deck is pretty, I don't know if I would say super mana hungry, but it's, it needs it does need a good bit of mana, and it needs to accelerate relatively fast. And the combo that we're trying to pull off sometimes requires us to spend 9 or 10 mana on the same turn. So yeah, this pile would be our ramp pile. And this is probably about the best I could draw up here. Ancient Tomb, Soul Ring, Sapphire Medallion is crazy good in this deck. And Springleaf Drum was also a recent addition. So this would be a great pile to grab if you have plenty of cards in your hand and maybe even access to the combo, or, you know, and we're just trying to hit the requisite amount of mana. So that's another thing that you could pull off with Gifts. And again, like I said, any two of these cards in all of these piles, you know, it's the cool thing about Gifts is you know, you're building the pile and the opponent gets the choice, but you can really see that sometimes the choice is a bit of an illusion for the opponent, or, you know, if you're able to have your deck built in the correct way and your pile set up in the right way, you can really manipulate the results of Gifts Ungiven. And especially considering the fact that the other cards you don't get go into your graveyard. So if you're a deck that does a good job at accessing your graveyard, you're not too hurt about the other two cards going into your graveyard. And so yeah, you can really see the power of the card being able to, you know, at 4 mana instant speed, you know, double tutor and, you know, entomb cards as well. So yeah, I think Gifts Ungiven will be doing a pretty good job in Thassa specifically. It's as we mentioned, it can get us guaranteed access to our infinite combo, or fill in the gaps where we need, whether it's card draw or ramp or counter spells, or if we're just trying to get more extra turn spells. Or, you know, one other thing we didn't mention, and this one's pretty self-explanatory, sometimes that's just what you need. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks for stopping by today to take a look at my Thassa Deep Dwelling list and taking a breakdown look at Gifts Ungiven. You guys will have to let me know in the comments if you guys are trying to test out Gifts Ungiven in any of your decks, or if you've found any creative uses or piles that you can make with Gifts Ungiven to do some really fun, silly things. So I'm excited to give it a shot in Thassa. And yeah, thanks for taking a look at the video, guys, and I will see you next time.